Hello guys, so this is the first video in a series of short resin tutorials, and I'm going to be showing you how to make basic charms in this video, and I'll also be showing you how to make glitter charms and also how to insert eye pins in the back. I'll also be showing you how to dough in the back of charms and some different techniques you can use with your resin as well. So in this video I'm just going to show you how to make basic charms. The resin I use is called Easy Cast resin, and I will leave a link in the description where I buy mine, but I don't know if they ship internationally, so you'll have to check that. But you can use Envirotex light resin as well. I've heard lots of people use that and it's very good. And there are other brands of resin out there that you can use in a very similar way. You just have to check how to use it as well. You're also going to need some measuring cups so you can get the exact measurements for your resin. A lot of people just pour the resin in the bottle cap and use it that way, but I prefer to use measuring cups because then I can get the exact amount that I need and I know that it's exactly right. I just use these ones because they are quite easy to get at craft shops online, anywhere like that. You also need some plastic cups. You can use clear ones, white ones. These are just plastic party cups from a cheap shop. Basically, I got these for about £1. They're very easy to get hold of. You can use any kind of cup as long as it's disposable. You also need some lollipop sticks. I get these from craft shops and I use these to stir the resin. You'll also need some resin moulds. I'll put a link in the description where I got this mould from. Silicone moulds are very good, especially this one because it's actually shiny. I know it looks dirty at the minute, but I will show you how to clean that as well. And there are also plastic resin moulds you can use as well. You also need some stickers or something to put in the resin. I'm just going to use these ones for this tutorial, but you can use any stickers you want basically. If they're paper stickers, I would cover them with tape or something, or Mod Podge to protect them from watermarks. You also need some glitter. Any kind of glitter will do. Cheap glitter, expensive glitter. You can also use micro marbles as well, but you have to be careful because they do sink to the bottom of the resin quite easily. You can also use sprinkles. I just buy these from the baking section at the supermarket. Real sprinkles are fine to use. Real sweets are good as well. I use real Love Hearts and real M&Ms and Skittles. So here I'm just using a piece of tape to clean the glitter off the mould. I wouldn't suggest using deco tape. It's kind of expensive, but it's the only tape I had. You're better off using sellotape or packing tape or something similar. So you basically just pat this on, turn the mould inside out and use it to get rid of all the glitter. It does quite an effective job, and as you can see the mould is getting cleaner. I didn't clean the whole mould because I'm only using 2 squares of it. So next you're going to pour out your resin. I actually reuse the same cups for a while. I used them about 4 or 5 times before I chuck them away. I just make sure I know which one is the resin cup and which one is the hardback cup, and I store the cups on top of the respective bottles of resin just so I know which one is which. You don't have to keep them, you can just dispose of them. I just keep them because I don't have very many of them left. So you're basically just going to get your cups and pour the resin in equal amounts. Use the lollipop stick as well to help you pour in the resin if you need to. I'm going to pour up to the 30 mark on the resin bottle because I'm using a lot of resin for this tutorial because I'm doing a lot of things in the particular day I'm filming, but you can fill it up to wherever you want. Just gauge how much resin you think you're going to need. Remember to double the amount as well because you'll be using both resin and hardener. So obviously you can't really see very much, but it's very simple. I just bend down so I can see the level of the measuring cup easily, and then just pour up to the line which I want to go to and scrape off the excess. So now I've poured out both of the cups. I'm going to pour them both into the plastic cup to mix with. So you're basically just going to scrape out the measuring cups as best as you can. You probably can't get all of the resin mixture out of there. That's no problem, as long as you get as much as you can out of there. There shouldn't be too much of a problem with that. Then, once both parts are mixed in, you can mix the resin. You can mix slowly if you prefer, that creates less air bubbles, or you can mix quickly and it'll create more air bubbles, probably a lot of smaller air bubbles that will be hard to get rid of, and you will have to wait longer for those air bubbles to rise and to the surface and pop. I prefer to mix fairly slowly just because I don't like to get too many air bubbles. And I mix for around 2 or 3 minutes, or until I feel it is fully mixed in. You want to make sure it's extremely fully mixed in, otherwise the resin won't cure properly and it could be bendy in places if it's not properly mixed. So make sure you scrape all the sides of the cup, scrape the bottom as well, and stir in both directions as well, just to make sure it's fully mixed in. Some people also use a double cup mixing method, but I don't bother with that. I have never had any problems mixing this way. So once it's mixed in, you'll see that it won't be creating any weird strings or patterns in the resin. It'll be fully mixed in and it'll be clear as well. So to get rid of any air bubbles, I'm just going to use a straw and blow onto the resin. Don't blow in because you don't want to breathe this in at all. Just make sure you use your warm breath to pop the air bubbles, and then leave it stand for a couple of minutes just to let it settle down. Next I'm going to pour in a thin layer of resin in the mould. You don't want it to be too thick because then your charm will be really, really thick. I'm doing 2 parts of this mould because I'm doing 2 different pieces. And hopefully you can see where I filled it up to. Not too deep, but not too thin either if I'm putting glitter in the back. Next I'm going to put the sticker in. I'm using a needle, this is quite an old needle now, it needs a bit of a clean, but you can use a toothpick or something similar just to push this sticker into the mould. Make sure you press it down quite deep and just make sure all the air bubbles are getting out from underneath it. And again use a straw just to blow out any air bubbles that do rise to the surface. And then you want to leave this for around 1.5 hours to 2 hours for the resin to get tacky. I didn't actually leave it long enough in this tutorial, so you really need to leave it for much longer, otherwise the glitter will stick to the front of the charm and it won't look very good. As you can see, that charm there has a nice distinct layer of resin and glitter, and to achieve that you need to wait for the resin to get tacky. So you need the resin to create much more strings when you put the needle in like that. I didn't leave it long enough at all, so you really need to leave it long enough before you put glitter in the back. But I'm just going to put the glitter in now because why not? So I'm just going to put the glitter in. You can use all sorts of things in the background as well. You can use sequins or confetti or anything like that. I'll also be showing you a different way to do backgrounds in a different video as well. So then you just need to wait for 24 hours and your piece will be done. You can add a bail on the back, just like that, using a bit of glue on the back, or you can add eye screws, and I will make a separate video on how I put my eye screws in resin pieces without using a drill, because I don't have one, so I have to do it the manual way. So it is a bit more difficult, but it still works, as you can see. So I'll be showing you how to do that very soon. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. More resin tutorials will be coming soon, and I'll see you in my next video.